It was Outkast song. He was like the smoothest mother.
Yeah,
how to say it?
Yeah, the smoothest.
It wasn't a cuss word. It was
Funker.
Funker.
He's
right.
Funker,
So I'm over there with with cousin, and they was rapping it. So I didn't know they know. I'm cussing. Like I'm in full-fledged cuss mode, right? So when they said it, I'm looking at them like,
Oh.
we cussing? I ain't gotta hide it no more. Oh my God. I've been wanting to cuss for the longest around y'all. And now I can cuss with y'all. Oh my God. Then I went back and said, bonkers. I said,
Dang it.
yeah, y'all messed it all up.
Ay, okay, let it be known. I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a hoe, this ain't a phone. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully you understand G.O.D. maybe.
What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Unlearning Religion. It is me, the host, Robert McNair, with the squad, with the crew. Say what's up, everybody.
What up, what up?
What's happening?
We sitting here getting on to the second episode. And we just kind of wanted to bring about some conversations. You know, we talked on the first episode, kind of got a little bit of history of what unlearning religion is, but now we kind of want to dig a little bit deeper into some of these topics that have always been pressing me and a lot of people that I talk to all the time, right? So in this one, we like to call it Jeezy, Yeezy, and Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And basically, we're going to be exploring in this episode music. Does music limit your anointing?
Yes, it does.
Does music have a factor on your life?
Yes.
And I'll be quick to say there was a time where I just listened to just straight gospel music, and then there was a time where
Very depressing time,
you
wasn't it?
know what? Very depressing time.
Tell us
Especially
how
the kind of music.
Tell us how long that was, Brother Rob.
Well, before the show, I said 10, but I scaled it back to about 5. I think it was a good 5 years where I didn't listen to nothing but Praise 97.5 and Miss Dottie Peoples and Fred Hammond. Y'all remember back when Praise 97.5 first, they played the same 10 songs.
Yeah.
And I promise you, like, I was like, well, if this is what I need to be holy, I need to listen to it. But I hated it. And some of them songs right now, you know, some of the things right now, I just can't stand. Even like listen, V103 in the morning, the Triple T from Tennessee. Y'all know I'm
Talented and totally sold out.
Man, now listen, I don't have no problem with Larry Tinsley. Larry Tinsley would play some of them songs, and I'd be like, man, I don't even, you know, no. Do you know Jesus? Y'all know what I'm talking about. When a car went in the ditch and then went to the white lady house. And, you know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. Like, I remember hearing that stuff, man.
Come
like,
on in the room.
Yeah, come.
I was like, wait a minute, come on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on.
Bishop.
In the room.
Look at y'all.
Jesus is my doctor. He writes out all. I used to think
My scriptures.
Yeah, I saying at that point.
Oh, prescriptions.
But you know, and that was before the time. That's when I, you know, go to church with my parents and everything like that. But there was a time where I felt like if I was listening to secular or worldly music, it was affecting me. As a person, it was affecting my relationship with Jesus. And now I'm telling you, there's so many people that we come across now who like, they'll hide and they'll be like, you know, you walk up by their car or whatever and they playing gospel music, but if you catch them like, and they had just changed it there, like because they was really just listening to UGK or Outkast or whatever, or T.I. or something like that, right? And so I think this is important for us to be able to.
Today.
Oh, Lil Baby. Yeah, I don't even know no Lil Baby song. I'm trying to learn, y'all. I just and I don't like to show my age, but I I be needing the song to like flow. Like I be needing like some wordplay and some type of thing to make me think. Like, and some of this stuff, I just be like, man, this is weird, man. I can't get it. I can't get with it. I'm sorry, young folk.
I have to Google the lyrics because I don't even know. I have to go back.
Oh, that's what he said.
Oh, that's what he said.
I mean, what was that?
So we gonna rhyme.
Y'all act like a bunch of old people right now. I'm not their age, y'all. I know all the lyrics. You know
Come
what I'm saying?
on, Chris. Come on.
She know all the lyrics stuff. Mary. Stomp. That's Kurt, ain't it? Stomp.
Oh.
Yeah, but so that was like it. So I think it's important for us to kind of let's hit this up. Let's break this down, man. Jarvis,
What's that?
Jarvis, man, who your favorite artist, man?
Man, favorite artist of all time?
Yeah, all time.
I'm gonna have to go with
I'm sorry.
Man, I hope this man don't ever watch this podcast.
We were.
Man, I'm gonna have him in the studio just one good time, man. Just, favorite artist. I'm gonna go with Bishop Clifford Harris.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorites.
What? This is Bishop Fine. Yes.
Yeah, he's probably number one. So my thing is, I don't really like gospel music, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, he said artist.
oh man, artist what? Okay, so Clifford, T.I. for some of y'all that don't that don't know who I'm
Who is
talking
that?
about.
They probably thought, was he a part of commission?
I ain't heard him before.
Bishop, wait.
They trying to follow him on Facebook. Look at Bishop.
I didn't figure this out.
All right, so I got him. I liked Anthony Hamilton.
Yeah.
You look like you.
Look like you rolling down the street.
That's what they had on. Huh?
I
I like Hamilton. I like
Right. Music be up too, right?
Charlie.
Be rather
Man.
be beaten.
Anthony Hamilton, Israel Houghton is the Michael Jackson of gospel. So yeah, just go ahead and put that out there. Yeah,
I'll let you slide.
yeah, I know, I understand. What? 3. Man, I say Ricky Dillard or somebody.
Wait a minute.
Anyway, this podcast gonna probably. I'm trying to stay away from calling names. But there's a whole bunch of y'all out there that's trash, and you probably think the same of me. But to each their own.
You ain't gonna throw Kirk in there somewhere?
Right.
In my top 5, I like him, but I mean,
Israel over Kirk.
I love
oh yeah, he definitely over Kirk. He's the Michael Jackson. Let me stay here for a second. He's the Michael Jackson of
He's
gospel.
the Bruno Mars of gospel
Call
music.
him. No, he's Mike.
She said Bruno.
I give you Bruno,
Bruno.
but he's definitely
who's
Kirk.
Yeah,
Uncle.
sample a song. Hey.
Bruh, that man songs are played across the board in every genre. Kurt can't say that.
I get it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
That's it. That's it.
I get it.
Everybody on earth. That dude we talking about last time, he might hate the Democrats, but he know what Thriller is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
And he know who, Lord, you were good.
That's true.
Yep, they probably.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you right.
And Papa just got done singing right before he came up.
As I sip my
Yeah.
tea.
That's all. Yeah.
Okay then.
Okay.
So, yeah. So I'm gonna just go with 3. I'm gonna just go with 3 because I want to hold the time.
And I like how you said that because you didn't just stay in one genre. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you say Bishop Clifford Harris, like in as you know, again, T.I. for those
T.I.
who don't know.
Tip.
Right? Tip, T.I., it's I think that some people right now might be having a challenge, bro. Like, I can't trust none you saying no more because you say you like T.I. And from what I know, and T.I. talk about, selling drugs and he know about, what I'm saying? Like people will do that.
Yeah.
And they'll cut you out. But I think it's important for us to hear from you as a believer in saying that. And then we're going to throw this over the wall to Tony too. Is that like, how do you feel that affects you as a person? Like, is there something you limit? Is it something that you just always listen? Like what? How does that affect you and your lifestyle and how you live? Does it at all?
No.
At least you're honest.
I mean, my thing is, and I guess it's a process on everybody's thing, because I've been there too, where you want to do it the right way. You want to, cut out certain things, and and after a while, I was just like, I'm trying too hard for something I really like, and I'm like, Lord, fix me. If I'm wrong, fix me, and I'm not saying that it's just, you just do whatever you want to do. I am saying it's like my freedom in Christ is, it's a weird thing where I can be listening to Bishop Harris, and it'll be something that'll almost like all right, that's enough. Yeah. And I just cut it off. It ain't a fight. It ain't this, that, and third. And it go both ways. It can be something where I'm listening to your boy Kurt, and I'm vibing. And after a while, it's like, all right, man, I'm gonna turn up for a little second, bro. And he just ain't gonna get it to me, cause Israel ain't gonna give me no turn up the way I want to turn up, and I ain't gotta sit here and cuss every single verse. But I am saying I'm gonna enjoy the songs, the music for what it is. So I mean, it didn't. What I had to learn is that it didn't mess up my walk with Christ, and just understanding that I'm openly gonna tell you I am a walking process. So 1 minute you may get hands to be healed, the next minute I might just leave you on the ground. Anyway, go ahead, man.
No, that's good. Okay, cool. So,
What, favorite?
yeah,
Okay, so I feel like I'm behind on the curve because
you was like me.
Oh,
no, for real talk. I remember when I started listening to secular music because my dad ain't saved, so we used to spend those summers with him. And I know this is crazy, but you remember like MTV used to do like that whole week of Michael Jackson stuff?
Yeah.
And I was like glued to the TV. I watched The Wiz, I watched all this stuff, and I was just like, oh my God, this is awesome, And so I would get his CDs. You remember like Source used to do like those compilation CDs and stuff. I would listen to that, them Freaknik mix and stuff like that. Like I started listening to that type of stuff, But when I was growing up, it was all Christian music, and then they would try to supplement with like Christian rappers like A1 Swift. A1 Swift, Papa San, like they used to try to give me, virtue. That
BBJ,
I just thought this in a Christian.
Y'all remember Preachers in Disguise?
Gangsters.
That type of stuff. So I was like almost middle school when I started listening to like secular music, and like even now, I don't really have a favorite because I can listen to Paramore and then want to listen to some trap music, but then like now I'm struggling with Christian music.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like,
because I used to be heavy on Bethel. Like heavy.
Yeah.
But it's like when I listen to it, it's just some there. So I have to let the Lord lead me with that. So more so like I've been just on social media trying to find new artists that don't follow that formula of Christian music. So Steve, like we was just riding up here, my husband was like, this don't even sound like Christian music. It just seems like vibe music. I said, but are you listening to the words? Like, So I ain't really got no favorites. I ain't, like I said, I used to be heavy on some stuff, but not no more.
Yeah.
That's good though, because like when we talk about Bethel and we talk about a lot of this music, especially in the landscape that we're in now with this stuff with George Floyd and the stuff that, Black Lives Matter, like we used to be really heavy into a lot of it. And then like when all that stuff started happening and we started hearing these artists or their leaders start saying some things, you're like, hold up, wait a minute, now I don't, like, no, like this literally is something that a lot of people Black people are being treated for PTSD because of we're seeing our brothers and sisters getting shot and killed. We're seeing it all the time on the news. We're seeing this dude take a knee for 8 minutes and 40-something seconds. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing that and all of this. And then you have something you just want to talk about, and you want to talk about like how to protect the police or something like that. Like, bro, let me tell you something. Every experience I done had with police just about has been a negative experience. So while you're sitting there trying to say, all police aren't wrong, or bad, like my experience is most of them are.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
And so when I hear the leaders start talking about that, then you start hearing the songs and they talk about, how amazing God is and God is so awesome and all these different things. And I'm sitting there, so you're sending these praises up to God. But if I come into your church now and then I have this feeling of I experienced something negatively with a police officer or something, then you start to direct it towards me.
Yeah.
Or like what Pastor Q was saying on the last episode, pray about it, or you want to direct everything to Jesus. Like, no, this is real.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're just discounting who I am as a human. So I feel you.
Yeah. It's just hearing some of the testimonies from the people who like either sing back up or will lead the songs and they weren't getting paid. They, black people, they weren't getting, paid. They were often put to the side, kind of played with spiritually. And it's just like, I can't really, it's just so this inner thing with me. So even with Maverick City right now, that used to be, before it was like the popular thing, it used to be my music. And so like even now, it's just like, I just can't listen to it how I was listening to it before. So yeah.
Oh, I got to put Elevation in there then.
Yeah.
I put them in my top 5. Yeah, I got more.
I mean, but that's crazy that you have to look at it that way, because you realize that between you and Jarvis, when you were mentioning your favorite artists, when it came to quote unquote secular music, y'all ain't really have much to say. But I mean, it's T.I. It's Mike, you know what I mean? But when you start talking about the Christian artists, the question was, how does music affect who you are, or I guess you would say quench your anointing? You know what I mean? Quench the spirit, But when y'all were talking about secular music, it wasn't no quenching. But when you started talking about Christian music, it was like, but it just don't sit well with my spirit. And that's what we need to talk about. Like, is it the music out in the world that's really bothering us? Or is it Christian music itself, because it's what's behind it? You know what I mean? Because when you start flowing in the spirit, like the spirit, you test the spirit by the spirit. Spirit knows what's behind the spirit. So when it hits my spirit, it feels whether it's authentic or not. You know what I mean? At least with worldly music, what they saying is what they saying. It is what it is. But like you said, you have people trying to lead you into the spirit, but yet behind the scenes, it's everything but that. And it's like, dang, how did we get to this place?
And when you've been taught, like, it's the intention behind the music and the heart and and then you start seeing the heart of the people singing these songs, it's like, well, at least when T.I. talk about,
I know what he's talking about.
His experience, and it's real, you know what I'm saying? But, I ain't got to worry about him, some other stuff being at the core of it all, or him trying to manipulate a response out of me, to make me feel a particular thing. So, yeah.
I think, man, I don't know. I mean, I think with music, it's just one of those things sometimes where it's, and I'm trying to see how I can say this thing, man. It's like, it's almost like I don't know how much, and I guess it matters. I guess it depends on the person. Like, I don't know how much it affects the next person. Like, I'm not saying it don't have any influence on me, because when I do ride and I'm listening to certain stuff, somebody cut me off, I'm ready to square up with you. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. Or, if I'm worshiping and so does it affect my emotions? It can. Yeah. Does it necessarily affect me spiritually all the time? No. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So, and what I mean by that, I don't know if we want to talk about it here or later on, but it's going to be, because I always like, we talk about intent, right? So it was a story about, I don't like naming names, but it's known now, but it's about this one song that the guy had basically. It's a beautiful song. Everybody listened to, Christian song, and he faked a whole sickness.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
What is it? I believe.
I believe you're my healer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? And it's like dope song. People was, coming to Christ, and people was, getting healed, getting inspiration from it, and it was a dope song. But behind the scenes of it was
It was a crook.
he faked the whole thing. Like he faked that he
That's
had
not
cancer.
That's not the one the wife died though.
No,
he said
faked
he
it.
had
He
cancer.
had it.
Dude cut his hair off and everything. Cause he
gave a testimony and everything.
Nah. So I think what happened is I thought it was gonna be he thought it was just gonna be a song. But when stadiums start packing out, and it's like I can't back down now, because it's the number one song in the world. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, boy, I just gotta ride it through. Now, but
He had tubes and everything.
Oh, he had the whole. He went through the whole Dog and Pony show. But my point of it was, look how many people honestly got healed, like honestly
Yeah.
connected with Christ.
Yeah.
Versus his intent was, I just want to make a hit song or whatever his intent was behind it. He apologized and everything. But it's like that's what I mean by like I don't know. Sometimes somebody's intent may be something else, but God can still use it. And I'm not saying that we just do anything.
They
but-
say he got used out of I mean, but I think it goes the same way because with me, I remember like I never went without listening to secular music. I always listened to both, but I was hard on gospel, but I would still put in, my CDs and so forth like that. And I do remember the times that I would listen to certain music, like it's not my top artist, but Rob even knows one of my favorite, 8 Ball and MJG, like my top, like one of my top I listen to because that's what I grew up on. You know what I mean?
When they come in time for revival.
Listen, but did you catch that verses though the other night? Like took me back. Okay, but anyways, just like candy. Okay, all right. But I remember when I would listen to it in the time where I just felt like I was striving for holiness. It was like I would listen to it and I would quench, like, this is bad. I shouldn't listen to this, ooh. But it was crazy because instead of striving to be holy, and when I came into the understanding that I had been made righteous through Christ, and so at this point, there is no striving. I am who I am in him. It was like, there was no, when I would listen to it, it wasn't like, oh my God, because I was sure. I'm sure of my relationship. I'm sure of who I am. I'm sure of the word that he has placed in my heart. I'm sure of the spirit that is on the inside of me. I remember I would listen to it and I'd be like, wait, don't listen to it because what if you come across somebody that you need to pray for and then you're not ready, to pray for them and, all this other stuff. Or have y'all ever done this? You may listen to your music up loud, but when you ride past the church, it ain't got to be your church. Any church, you cut it down.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, for me,
Turn it down.
turn it down. We're passing church. But for me, it was mental. That had nothing to do with my spirit. Because when I came to a full understanding of who I am spiritually, I realized nothing like this can affect me. I am in control of my mindset. And we used to say, well, that stuff stick it to your spirit. Well, how many spirits you got? You either gonna have the Holy Spirit or some other spirit. I don't know. But I thought I only had room for the Holy Spirit. I'm just saying, I ain't no tug of war going on inside of me. And so, but we like to say that these things get crawling into our spirit. But if you have an understanding of who you are in Christ, you know what I mean? And if you know your relationship, think about it. It's not just songs. You can go outside your house and be challenged spiritually. You have to know without a doubt, this is who I am. So, okay, I listen to this, but okay, that's wrong what he's saying, but dang, that beat popping. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it's more mental is basically what I'm saying. I'm not saying like, I think we do so much to try to get right and be perfect that we lose ourselves. And so now that I've started back listening, not that I just started back, but you know what I mean? Like now that I listen to it without conviction, I find that I can show up as me more. But I mean, still saved, still love God. God can still deliver a word through me. I'm still a willing vessel, probably more surrendered to God than, you know, the person who say they're like the holiest of holies, you know, whatever. But it's like I can listen to it, but it kind of keeps me grounded. Like, I mean, I still like this. If I'm in a gym, there are some times where I'm running on a treadmill and I'm listening to Elevation. And there's some times where I'm trying to get through a workout and listen,
On my feet,
this ain't gonna work. Like,
Elevation when it's private time.
right.
It's so wrong.
That's all I'm
saying.
But that's
that
another
became one of
pushing.
my things too.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you at that time, you know, people would push that, like, you know, you can't be listening to second. I don't name it. My man had he had a whole ministry based on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't want to name him, but yeah. So he had this whole thing where
Wait, what?
he would base all his how demonic the music was, and you know, Beyonce face, and then she'll turn to a demon, freeze the frame, and you know what I'm saying.
When
Had this whole
everybody looked
thing.
like a demon when
Everything was done. You know what I'm saying?
Not
And
everybody.
you know, God bless him for whatever his ministry does. But I think when people start going down that road, it puts more fear in you.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like now I'm just scared to listen to the music versus, okay, bruh, me and Tan together, I'm telling you, man, listen, Shirley won't make the playlist, baby. You know what I'm saying?
I listen to
You know, he might not make the playlist neither. I don't think I can't name a gospel artist that makes the playlist in intimate time.
Oh, so y'all ain't listen to that TD Jakes?
That nigga boy scared me.
Turn off the lights.
I mean, seriously.
They were really pushing it.
ready to sit up and like, wait, I need a message.
I was a
I need
teenager,
message.
and I would go to the little marriage. Me and my husband both, we were in the church, and we would go, and they would really be playing this stuff like it set the mood. I'm like, this ain't sexy.
Right, bro. Like,
Don't Deitrick Haddon. Don't
I know.
he did have a hot verse. I get one hot verse.
Hey, bro.
That boy said something about eat the milk and cookies.
Heat it up.
Yeah, no, he's yeah. That's what he said.
Wait.
So he said Santa Claus come down to Chimbley, he gonna leave him the milk because they gonna eat the cookies.
No.
Or something like that.
Something like that.
Man, God
it's
bless
a Christmas
that man.
song.
Hey.
One of my favorite Christmas songs.
Hey, man, listen.
Christmas song.
Now,
Tony.
that's all he got for me. Anything after that, Deitrick, I can't rock with you, dog.
It really do ride though.
9 o'clock and have the milk. I'll take the cookies.
Hey, listen, man. Hey, listen.
Oh my God.
Right.
I don't know how we got on that. I
think-
off that way, but yeah.
You know, I think like kind of like to Chris's point, I think she and I connect a lot when we listen to like a lot of the old school like rap. Like we connect obviously with gospel music and stuff like that. But it be sometimes like she'll be in the car and then I'll jump in the car and I hear the last thing she was listening to. And when it be like 8 Ball or MJG or something, I just be smiling, be like, that's my baby. That is my baby. She listens to anything. You know what I'm saying? But I think for me, years ago, and how I knew like music didn't have an effect on me was I was riding down the street, a friend of mine called and was like, hey, there's this girl that's on the way. She got a demonic spirit. We need to come over here and pray. Now, I had been listening to whatever for like the last month or two, right? And I was like, man, like I didn't spend the time with God that I needed to spend. And here I got these lyrics going in my head, and I'm going here to quote unquote cast out a demon, right? And the thing I'm thinking about is the 7 sons of Sceva in the Bible. Well, you know, Jesus, I know, Paul, I know, but who is you, right? So I'm thinking that these demons,
Get out of here.
I'm thinking this demon finna come and get me, right? Yeah. But I was like, no, I said, I'm gonna go over there. So I go over there, girl over there or whatever, and we praying. And I remember it was certain times where she would like get up out her seat and kneel down. Like it was really an experience where we was praying and declaring that this demon would leave a body. You know what I'm saying? And so it went on for about an hour, right? And it was Wednesday night, so I left there. I went to Bible study, and I felt bad because I was sitting there like, man, dang, the girl still got the demon because I was listening to. I can't remember what I was listening to. I was like, Outkast or UGK or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I said, dang. And then my friend called me. She was like, well, she said that, the Lord said that everything is okay. She was still under the influence of her prescription medicine, which I didn't know she had been under her prescription medicine at the time. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? I still was kind of like, well, whatever. The next morning, I get a phone call, and the girl is perfectly normal, asking for hot wings, when she gonna get her hair done and all this stuff. Now, she had been clinically diagnosed with schizophrenia, bipolar and all that stuff, right? And she was under the influence of this medicine. And when we prayed, to this day, she has no, well, I can't say history of, but she has no effects of that to this day. And this was probably like, I don't know, probably like 08, 09 when all of this had occurred. Mm-hmm. And so that for me, it shifted, unlearning religion, it shifted like, okay, God, I hear you. Like, it's not about me, quote unquote, trying to be holy to try to listen to this music. So when I get the call, then I can go and do the holy things. No, just like what Kris is saying, if Jesus is on the inside of me, I take him wherever.
Yeah.
But I think that comes with like getting away from self-righteousness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and I guess for some of the people that may be listening, it's like, man, y'all really champion the secular music. Now it's not dead. I don't depend on myself as God gonna use me today. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So if somebody was to get sick, I'm not. Only reason why I start feeling a certain way is because I now think I didn't read enough. I didn't listen to the right thing. Oh, when you gave me the unction to study, I didn't study. I fell asleep. So now I'm depending on myself more so than the power that you're going to give me and you working through me to do it. Yeah. And I think a lot of times that's what we fall short of. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so we get there. I remember Minister said one time, he said, man, if I was to come up here and say, how many of y'all believe that God heals? Everybody, yeah. How many of y'all believe God gonna heal somebody today? Yeah. And he said, I guarantee if I pointed to one of y'all and tell y'all to come up here and now you come up here and lay hands on people, you start, oh no, not me. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And part of that is because we know what it was that we was doing, or we know who we are. You know what I'm saying? And only thing when we going through this unlearning religion is religion will tell you to do that. Like you have to been and listen to this. You have to been and put in the study hours. You got to been and do the X, Y, and Z. Versus, all right, he might just use you to this one split second. Go in there, lay hands on the person. Person get healed. You out. You know what I'm saying? And now I ain't telling you to go start a healing ministry, but God used you at that moment.
Yeah.
And now you get back in your car, listen to Jesus back home. You know what I'm saying? And but in somebody else's mind, it's a conflict that's there's like, how in the world you gonna use him?
Yeah.
Because it's performance.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta perform. You gotta be perfect. You can't just be yourself. You know what I mean? And that's the issue, because it's like that's what's drawing people away from Christ, not to him. Is I can't keep up with all of these standards. Yeah. You want me to give up this, and that just to be loved by somebody who I can't see, feel, touch, hear. You know what I mean? Like, because really when people come into Christ, I don't know how to hear the voice of God. I don't see, is he real? But you want me to give up all of this for him. And so people are struggling with that. And it's like, no, what about he gave up himself, his life, for all of what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? Why not teach it from that perspective? So I don't expect you to give anything up. I already gave myself up so that you won't be guilty for what you can't give up. You know what I mean? So that's the thing. It's like, why not just be yourself? And I mean, I don't know about y'all, but like that's just me. There's some music I listen to that's not Christian, and I pull some of my best messages from, and
real.
I mean, because like you hear the stuff that they're saying, and then you think about certain things that happen in life, you tie it together, you be like, man, that'll preach, I don't know, but what I'm saying is from TV shows, from life outside of here, life outside of church, amongst your children, what you listen to, all of that then comes together, and you're like, man, this is good. You create a relatable message that touched someone's heart that may not have been touched if they was in somebody else's church who only wanted to preach fire and brimstone. But there was something that connected the dots for them. You kind of get what I'm saying? And so you just never know how God can use whatever it is that's in front of you. And like Jarvis said, it's not about, I guess, glorifying, what do you call it? Worldly, secular music. But it's about just saying, like, relax, stop trying so hard. Because that's why people are feeling empty. Yeah. And they don't have no joy because it's like, I feel like I can't do nothing,
No fun.
I know I play,
What you listen to, Queen?
I know, right? That's what I want to know.
Real down.
What you got over there?
Real down.
What you got in that playlist?
Let me see.
Listen, you got a mighty clouds of joy.
I know, right? Got commission lined up.
play
I'm
this
just
is crazy, baby.
You got that quartet up there, boy.
'Cause I ain't making no love to Kirk Franklin. Like that. You know what I mean? I'm gonna play a little old school. I'm listening to a little something, Aura messed me up when he messed his life up. I play Aura more than anything. I be sometimes I don't have to sneak Aura in every now and then. Ain't nobody hey Aura. Like you're ready.
let me cut it off.
I gotta cut you off. I gotta leave. But it was I'm a people that don't know. I played drums from 20-something plus years and band and all that good stuff. And so drums actually kept me in the church. That was my passion. I never forget this lady came and told my grandfather them, y'all, I need to get that boy off the drums. He can't hold a beat. Only reason why y'all let him play because he the pastor grandson. True story. That's what she said. Fast forward, her son became a pastor. And by then, my gift had don't evolved so much. I was a much better drummer than when she told me to get off. But anyway. And the same lady who told me or told them, I overheard the conversation. She was talking to my brother's father, my stepdad at the time. And the same lady who wanted me to not be on the drums ended up being the lady who was bringing me my paycheck on Sundays playing for her son.
Wow.
But that's what connected me to the church. I was still out there. I'd come in from 112.
Not 112.
112.
Wait a minute. Okay.
I'm coming in from Club 112, 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, but I had to be there to play them drums. That was my connection.
Yeah.
All right, it was a mother of the church that once said, she said, boy, she told my mom, she said, yeah, that's one thing about him. He sure enough be sharp from head to toe. But he be spelling just like a liquor. I was coming from 112. That was my connection piece. And that's what God used to keep me. Yeah. Now, if I would have let people and what folk were thinking about me, I don't know if I'd be where I am today.
Yeah.
That's what God used, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really about what people thought. God said, this is what I'm using. Because y'all can't see what he's gonna be one day.
Right.
Y'all can't see the behind the scenes, what I'm taking him through to get him to where he's gonna be when he's 44.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that. But even when we was playing, man, we talk about secular music. I gotta be honest. Some of our licks, we would say, "Hey, did you hear what such had on the record?" Them were our best licks in the church. Them would have people shouting, didn't even know what they were shouting over.
Yep.
But we as musicians knew we don't put it there. We like, we got it. We put secular music in there and they didn't even know it. I mean, there were times, offering time come around, we playing love songs.
Yeah.
But if you look at the chord structures of so much, musicians know how to hide stuff to make it sound like this could just be church. And they do it now. I mean, they do it now, and we've seen.
Really used you on the drums,
Right.
He used it. Secular music, church music, there are a lot of similarities in it.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a lot of similarities who's on the dance floors. It's a lot of similarities who's in our sanctuary floors. There was a lady who walked by and handed my homeboy, God rest his soul, handed him her panties. in the sanctuary.
I'm sorry.
Lord have mercy.
Because he played the music so good.
Jarvis.
Boy, hey, I think he started playing even better. I said, boy, yeah. And he turned and looked at me and I
But
said,
playing the music.
and he looked at me and he said, so I said, what? And he texted me that message. I almost fell out on the I could not believe it. And he showed them to me.
I believe it.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, it's a similarity. I mean, what's the difference between this lady at church
Yeah.
and the woman at the club? We want to look at her and say, oh, look at her. She out there doing this and third. But what about the sister or the guy at the church?
Yeah.
And we were doing our things in drama. We had groupies.
Yeah.
Yeah, musicians at church.
Musicians
My
got
husband
group.
drama, I know.
Musicians got group.
I ain't got nothing to do with she talk about her. But it impacted me. For me, it impacted me in some good ways. I love. When I say I love secular music, I don't know about look at you. Take it how you want to take it. I love secular music because I respect artists. I'm an artist.
Yeah.
I respect what people have to put into to get to the levels to where I can hear their music.
Yeah.
That ain't easy.
Yeah.
You know, the time you got to put in that craft, and somebody want to shoot you down. I said it once before. Drug dealers probably pray harder than some of my deacons.
Yeah.
I know that sounds bad, but we don't know what these cats are going through trying to get to these places, and we shoot them down. And we say just because, you know, you said a cuss word or two, hell, I'm a pastor. I don't say it's a cuss word. What y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna put me in the church? I ain't to y'all. I mean, I don't went through it.
Yeah.
And I still go through it. So I think, you know, when we start looking at secular music from a negative perspective, and I think it was you who said, one of you said, I mean, I know how far to let myself go into it to where it doesn't consume me.
Yep.
You know, and I know it'd be like, all right, can you get a little too crunk?
Yeah.
Chill out.
Yeah.
You know, and so, but I appreciate artists.
Yeah.
Really.
That's big because I think years ago, and I won't say what it led to, but years ago you had a situation between Ty Tribbett and PJ Morton and how they was beefing. And how Ty Tribbett would say all these different things about, you know, what PJ was doing because PJ wasn't. I don't even think he was with Maroon 5 at the time. I think this was even before he got with Maroon 5, and there was all this beef about, about what PJ would play because you know that's Bishop Paul Morton's son,
right?
He would play and all these different things, and they had all this stuff out on the social media, and then come to find out. There's this stuff going on with Ty Tribbett, and he's sitting here like, right. And then I remember listening to some of this.
Mind your business.
That's all I'm saying.
I remember listening to a lot of this stuff with Ty Tribbett. And let me tell you, I still love Ty Tribbett to today, but I remember listening to some of that stuff and how it would be extremely judgmental. And then to come to find out that your people are doing the same thing, but you sing it. And then here's the problem. People are looking at you as the celebrity, as the leader, and they're trying to be like you, and they're stumbling, and they're falling, and they're even possibly killing themselves or falling away from God because you're supposed to be this quote-unquote person that's setting the record straight, that's doing all these things right, and you doing the same thing, dealing with the same thing that they dealing with.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know he's not doing any of that stuff now, but I know in those early records, you can hear a lot of the legalism and stuff like that. And it's kind of wild because I remember like hearing that and even making certain artists like, oh yeah, this artist would never do this. And then hearing about them, they got a divorce or hearing about them having extra kids. And I'm sitting here like, wait a minute, this is a gospel artist. This ain't somebody that, you know, that I'm trying to stop listening to. And then when you start thinking about that and realize, okay, these are humans too. And just like you said, Pastor Q, like the artistry is something that you respect as a musician. No matter what their background is or whatever, you respect that artistry. But a lot of times when we find ourselves in church, it's not about the artistry. You're losing your anointing. You're limiting yourself. You can't grow. You got to get rid of this music. I remember when I was 18 years old, this pastor, or not pastor, but minister got up, took a trash can, took a little bitty trash can, one of the little bitty, threw it in the middle of the floor, and was like, throw away all your CDs right now. Now, the problem was, my wife was saying this earlier, the problem was, who gonna carry their CDs in the church? I had to go out to the car to get my CDs, throw them away. But nobody did anything. Everybody was just looking at them like, bro, like, no.
But does doing that really change you? You know what I mean? Because I remember you know, throwing away some of my CDs. I ain't throw away all of them. You know, just the ones that were a little sketchy.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
Scratchy
like, they were
anyway.
just too
Yeah.
too deep. Like 3 6 Mafia, Player 5, stuff like that. It was like, wait, maybe I shouldn't be listening to this. 6 Mafia. Like, wait a minute, I'm Christian now, but but it was like stuff like that. That was kind of like, well, they might be into a little witchcraft. I don't know what's going on, but that kind of stuff I threw away. But it didn't change me. It didn't draw me closer to Jesus than before. Then when I was listening to it, just to be honest. And so that's the thing. But like Pastor Q said, that is like connected. I mean, what we consider secular music, which is, I guess by definition, music that isn't religious or doesn't uphold the religious standard per se. Yes, that's true. It may not, but from our eyes, but we don't know how they wrote that song. Some of the songs, you don't know how the Holy Spirit was talking to some of those people.
Right.
Just because it's not in the Christian or gospel genre doesn't necessarily mean it wasn't led by the Spirit of God, depending on what was said. Now, I know some of the songs, which are the obvious. Okay, no, the Holy Spirit ain't lead you on that one. But there are some out there where you just cut off, this is secular. But no, like, did you listen to it? Like, some songs we have to question. I know we talk about this. Damn, are they talking about God or this? Or are they talking about love? Like, something about this is giving me Jesus, you know? And the church plays on that too. I know, what is it? Like, especially the Christian churches, that's how their songs have gotten so big. Is because they took rock music and said, we gonna make this thing Christian. And it blew up. You know what I mean? But yet we're trying to like, no, we can't step foot in that territory. But it's music. We don't know how God can change something and make it minister to another. You know, you just don't know. Now, yes, there are some music, like we say, that is obviously just completely left field. But you deal with God. I mean, you deal with what's coming into your ears with your relationship with God. Let that be you and God. You know what I mean? But I can't tell you what's right, what's wrong, what you should and shouldn't do. The judgment is the issue. That's what's pushing people away. Like you said, throw your CDs in the trash. What did that do? Besides make me lose all of my music and now I can't find it or I'm trying to figure out what it is. You know what I'm saying? But what did it do?
Yeah.
I think, that's a part of what you said once before. You could try I think Jarvis said this part, you could try all these fear tactics. And I think you were saying the fear tactics are not going to work until there's a personal change in you. You could do all of it. My mom took stuff away from me. She did all kind of stuff. We don't went through all that. You beat me. You everything you did. I still did because there was no inner. It was not an inner change yet. You know, and I think that, you know, even with the music piece of it, you could sit in church. We were saying, "Pass me not a drum," all these different hymns and all these different things, and at the end of the day, as soon as we leave the church, Sunday we was at Mosley Park. Because the music didn't impact me that way. It impacted the moment. It didn't impact me because there's no change in me like that yet. So I'm good momentarily with your pass me not of gentle say. I'm good. I'm good with all that. And I think one of the things, I think maybe y'all could attest to this. I know I can. Back in the 90s when Kirk Franklin came out with Stomp, he had already told us the prophet had spoken, Jarvis. He said, for those of us who think the gospel music, he said, y'all ain't seen nothing yet. He had already spoke that. We didn't even realize he was speaking that while we was in the clubs drinking, listening to his music. Christians, we was in the club. Jarvis, that would come on right before everybody go home. That was your saving grace on your way home. He'll Stomp. I mean, and
you go to church in the morning.
And they're toe up and they play Stomp. Bruh. And you know how many people now knew every lyric to you know why? These wasn't secular folk. These were the church people.
Yeah.
You know, it was.
That's why I like when that's the reason why I like when you look at gospel music. Like, that's why I think it sucks so much. Like, it's. I mean, overall, because like Kurt had, like, I understand my audience. I understand who I'm going after. I know you like this type of beat. I know you like this type. You know what I'm saying? And let me go down that road with you. it's like oh no, that's popular. Let me do it that way. And it's like, dude, y'all sound like you listen to something on the radio now. Sounds similar to something that was in 1995. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it shouldn't be this way.
Yeah.
It's trash, man.
Seem like they're trying to remake the oldies. I mean,
Yeah.
like it is. It's weird, but I mean, like you said, like back to what Pastor Q said. You know, temporarily you in church, you worshiping, you on the way to church. B103.
Yep.
Larry Tinsley. Let you
Triple
leave
T,
church at 12
Tennessee.
o'clock. You cut your radio on. You're like, wait a minute, what that happened?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
But that ought to tell you, it's not like when you got in your car, it's like you dismissed the message or you dismissed what happened in church. It's still there. It's just, I mean, you cut on the radio to something different. But it's like, why? I guess my question is, why do we focus on the little things? I know we like to say that little foxes, the small foxes destroy the vine and things like that. I mean, I know it's a word, but the first it might be out of context. But anyway, we're not going to dig deep.
Yeah.
You
But
good.
but I just want to say, like, why do we focus on the little things when people are really, really dealing with big issues? Like, why is it music? Why is it
dealing with big issues, and it's easier for people to pick at
Yeah.
what you doing when you got all this stuff going on with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's easy.
Whatever I can do to get the attention off of me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And point to your flaws and all of this stuff,
Convince myself I'm not as bad as that.
Right.
You know?
That's exactly what it is.
That's what
Comparison.
it is.
I'm gonna read y'all these lyrics, and then you're not, unless you know the song, you're not even gonna be able to guess the artist. Kris might, because I listen to this all the time, but it's been out since late 90s, and it was about 2 years ago when I realized it was a song to God by a secular artist. Check this out. And I'm not going to read everything, but I'm going to read y'all a couple stanzas. He says, "You are the flame in my heart. You light my way in the dark. You're the ultimate star. You lift me up from above. Your unconditional love takes me to paradise." Then he says, "You make me feel so divine. Your soul and mine are entwined. Before you, I was blind. But since I've opened my eyes, with you there's no disguise, so I can open up my mind. I've always loved you from the start, but I could not figure out that I had to do it every day. So I put away the fight. Now I'm going to live my life, giving you the most in every way."
Oh,
Guess who that is?
that's R. Kelly.
No.
I got
I
you.
know. I'm done. I didn't know Kelly with that.
Man.
Nah. Kelly did, baby.
That's a secular artist.
That's Lenny.
That's Lenny Kravitz.
Really?
Okay.
I Belong to You is one of his top
I Belong
selling.
to You?
Yeah. One of his top selling songs that he's ever written. That's Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz will tell you about his experiences with God. Lenny Kravitz will tell you that he goes before God before he writes a song. And he's always been one of my favorite artists in a different genre. But when I heard that and I was listening to it, and when I first listened to it, I was like, Kris, it sounded like he talking to God. And so I went and I looked at the lyrics and I was like, I really think he talking to God. So I finally caught a TV show and he said, yeah, that song was written to God.
Sounds bad.
And here we are.
But
But if you look at Lenny,
yep.
you would think, because so many people do it right now, they would think, oh, that person ain't saved because they make quote unquote secular music. You don't know, just like what Kris and Pastor Q was saying, you don't know what the influence was behind why they wrote it.
Yeah.
And you can find God in other genres as well.
You remember real quick the show we watched? It was this show. It's like documentaries, and they were called Holy Ghost, Finger of God, all those by Bethel and stuff like that. And there was one episode, I can't remember it was, but it was these rock stars, and their concerts were the same. Like you look at the stage, you look at how they dressed, the people who came. It was kind of, it looked
Korn,
demonic. It was Korn. They were saved. So all the people who come to their concert were the same. Like they're old school followers who were very rock on, like don't believe in Jesus. They would come before their concert, real life. They would come before their concert.
You're having a confession
And,
moment.
right.
We ain't gonna give you no mercy in here, baby.
Right, exactly. Like, nah.
They ain't know.
But they would come before their concerts, pray and heal for people,
Wow.
all lined up before entering their concert. But you look inside, you look in their concert, and you're like, "What is going on in here?" But before people would go in, they would come out and pray healing, pray introduce individuals to Christ. Anybody want to get saved? Come over here, and then go out and rock out. You know what I mean? But it was just like. I mean, I know you want to be judgy and all, but who you minister Christ to? Like, you know, people falling in the grocery store and you ain't asking if they say. You know what I'm saying?
They're just falling
You know
to
what I mean? Like, you ain't offering Christ to
Tell on
folks.
the way down. You got it right with the Lord.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, we out here like to be judgy, but there are people doing more soul winning than we could ever do, who are what you consider demonstrating everything but holy. They secular, but who the last person you introduced to Christ?
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, we like to be judgy, but it's some real disciples out here in the streets.
There is.
I was looking for a church. I was lost. Then my phone had went dead. I'm running late trying to find this church. And I go into this gas station, and no lie, I run past the beggar because I got to get to church. No disrespect for you. I ain't got no cash in the way, none of that. That's my mindset. I just run on in. And it's a true story. I go in, and my mind first said, check with all the white people in here to find the right directions. Literally. And I'm like, I asked like 2 different white people. Nobody knows what a church is. Later on, I asked myself, why do you think the white people gonna know what a black church was?
Right.
Anyway, but you know, white is right. And so it was literally the guy came in. He was standing by the little store, you know, the door or whatever. He heard me ask him what his church was, and dude literally said, "Oh, I know that church." He said, I my family used to go to that church some years ago, this and third. So he told me how to get to the church. But I always remember this because I'm like, I wasn't gonna listen to the bad dressed homeless looking man because I didn't think he had anything to tell me. So my lesson was from how do we know what God can say through other people to bring other souls to Him. You see what I'm saying? You look at what's the guy who just passed not too long ago? DMX. You know, all the prayers he did at some of those concerts and stuff. Who's to say that not one person left there and from that concert say, you know what, I do need to go back to my local church and speak with my pastor or talk to somebody about this, you know, or the latest one, Kanye and his, you know, things he was doing. No matter what we think about Kanye, what I think about Kanye, anybody.
Yeah.
But who's to say what it does for somebody else that may have went to one of these Kanye gatherings and say, you know what, man, it was something that happened. I had an experience. But yeah, we shut everything down because we up in our sanctuary singing whatever we sing, so we good. But if somebody does something different, again, that's that box. Because I can't put Kanye in this box. Or I can't put DMX in this box. You know, and surely this is why he died, because he was, you know, using the Lord's name in vain.
My thing is and not to make it about what he passed up, but was it drugs or something like that?
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, them same people would say, "Oh, that's the reason why, because he was on drugs." It was a famous pastor that passed away years ago in a hotel room because he struggled with a certain issue. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, but pray for him and his family, which you should. I'm by all means, but I'm like,
But you should pray for God.
but how did you
Y'all gonna pick and choose.
pick and choose?
Pray for him.
Yep.
And they died of the exact same drug. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like,
That's
That was a strong call.
Boy, that-
yeah. What you think it was
For
with him?
him,
Right.
So when he praying, he faking it. But when he praying, it's anointed over here. You get what I'm saying? It's like, it's this little, it's we got to stop doing that.
We do.
man.
And another thing is that when it comes to like these, like when you're talking about Yeezy, it's funny because so many gospel artists are upset that Kanye won all them Billboard Music Awards. They say he's just not a gospel artist, blah, 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 blah. Listen, can we not be happy that this man has jumped into an arena, a gospel arena, talked about how good God is, talked about all these different things, and could have brought thousands or hundreds of thousands of folks over to Jesus, and you mad because you didn't get no stinking award or talking about he ain't no real Christian artist? Yeah. Are you kidding me right now?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like, is that even the point of your song? Is it for you to get an award, or is it to bring people to Jesus? I need to know.
He did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's what he's doing.
How many people would have listened to you versus him?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. You ought to be like, man, it doesn't matter. Like, he's drawing literally multiple people to Christ who are already listening to him, who may not ever touch foot or be able to even Google my name or put my name in an Apple, iTunes, whatever search box.
Right.
You know what I mean? But they gonna hear Christ through him. But that's the thing. It's motive. And church gotta break the walls of motive. Like, stop worrying about who's better and climbing that ladder and trying to get notoriety and all this other stuff. No. Are they pointing people to Christ? That's it. Are they? Yes. Okay, well, good job.
I understand that, but I can see the frustration with some of the artists that work really hard. Yeah, we bring in, that's the goal. We want to minister to people. But, like, Kanye knows the formula. So that's where I'm always with Kanye. Like, is this really a move? Or is this Kanye being Kanye?
I think it's a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's like, it doesn't matter to me because, like you said, the bigger picture, he was able to minister to people. So we cool on it. But it's just that part. It's like, are you just doing the formula and doing it better than everybody else? Is this a game to you? Like, I'm gonna dominate all of the, you know. And so I can understand there because there are some gospel artists who really are good and never get that, you know.
But they weren't gonna get it.
Appreciate you.
My only thing is they weren't gonna get it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like you take Kanye out of it, you still were gonna make your little music.
Yeah.
And half the time you probably was trash.
Yeah.
You know. Now my only thing with Kanye is I think Donda album was trash. You know what I'm saying? Look, what was the first one? Not Donda. Donda was the first.
No, Donda was
King, Jesus King or something.
Yeah, Jesus King. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus King was trash. Like now
unfinished.
everybody gave it the hype because it was him.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, no, let's put this. Let's bring him on track for track. Put him on with one of them other artists who wasn't popping like that. That other artist probably was better, had a better album. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, that album was trash. Because and when I say trash, I mean like, give me the Kanye, give me College Dropout dude. Bring him here and give me that. Give me no lyrical content that I like about you. Bring me that here, dude. You'll be the biggest gospel artist that ever pop.
And that's all I'm saying. It's like, is he doing the formula?
I mean,
you know, but the grand, like the bigger
formula.
picture, it's like, okay, you know, whatever. That's between him and God to sort out. I'm not gonna put him in a heaven. I ain't gonna put him in hell. I ain't got that authority.
But I will tell you, I was trash.
I mean, but
it's like, you know, in just conversation, those artists like, dang, he just come over here and take, you know, all the space and blah blah blah, and then he go back to doing what he do because it's fun to do. Like, well, I can do gospel too, you know, like I can do all of this type of stuff. So I can understand they're like, bro, just keep that over there. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know.
But I think across the board, everybody does it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, think about church. Okay, who you gonna pick? You gonna pick Judy, who been preaching, you know, for 30 years. You gonna bring TD Jakes in because it's bringing the money. It's mainstream. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
We do it all the time. So it's like,
you put a big conference on, you want to.
Right.
You don't bring in a big name.
You don't bring in a big names. You ain't bringing in no people.
You will see it.
Yeah. We do it across the board. So, so we mad at Kanye because, it's the wrong mainstream. But you do it all the time.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Kanye, he has the formula, but you do too. Yeah. That's why you keep, you know, raising all the money to bring in the big names to bring more money into your church. Yeah. And it's the same way. Yeah. Like, it's everybody. Everybody doing it.
Yeah.
God dog.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know sister, brother such and such got a word
Right.
on front row.
But we don't know them.
But we don't know you.
And they ain't gonna bring the gas to pay this $120 ticket. We need somebody who gonna bring people to pay this $120 ticket, okay?
Cool. Well, listen, we're going over time, so we're gonna make a couple shifts over into the next show. But let's go ahead and bring these final thoughts in before we close out. Jarvis, again, what is something you found out today that you did not know before?
My cousin just keep trying to put Deitrick Haddon like top 5. He's not top 5, man. Like
Top 10 though.
top 10. What?
Chain breaker.
Chain breaker
Though.
Chain-
We worship you in the spirit.
Is there anybody here?
Yeah. No?
No.
Okay, never mind. All right.
Sinner's prayer?
All right.
No.
Bruh.
Okay.
I can't
All right.
believe, man, listen.
We got you. We got you.
Anyway, we God bless you, Deitrick, man. You keep doing your thing, man. Cause you do have some fans in here. But you're trash. Anyway, go ahead, man.
Call everybody trash.
Everybody trash.
Everybody trash.
Don't take offense to it, Deitrick. Everybody is trash.
Oh man, take away from the day. What a learned day, man. We got a lot of secular love in this.
Y'all heathen. Know what he trying to say.
I learned today we about 92% saved. And, I got 8% to work on. I love it. I love it, man. I really want people to just continue to. I don't know. I know people gonna, we already discussed some things. We gonna get some text messages, some phone calls. I'm already letting y'all know I know the word of God. I know the Bible says a tree is known by the fruit it bear. You gonna tell me about all this? I know it's coming. I know it's coming. But just you have to have a mindset of how do you view people that don't all have the same viewpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so as Christians, I know I believe what I believe and all these different things. I know the word of God says but what about the person that just don't believe in the word of God? I mean, they the nicest people in the world, this and third. How can I say to them, hey, God is for you too.
Yeah.
You just don't know it yet. I know you've been listening and they somehow pick up Kanye trash, Jesus is king.
Yeah.
And for them, it becomes what you say trash. May just become a treasure. So
Yeah. That's
Becomes
cool.
the gateway to Christ.
absolutely, yeah.
That's it.
Y'all want to hear? Before you go on, it's a new Ratchet song. F-R-E. Y'all not heard of it? Don't worry about it. Anyway,
Is this unlearned?
absolutely nothing to do with.
Is this church appropriate?
No.
Boy, no.
But you the one. You the only one at the table with all this church attire on. Though.
Yeah.
Child of
I
God. I give you all things T-shirt.
And I'm F-R-E. Go ahead, Tony, man.
Hey, bro, you tripping. We should be focusing on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
I really think, God really don't be tripping on some of the stuff we be focusing on. And if we really focus on what we need to focus on, we'll be in a better situation for everybody. And, we just got to learn how to mind our business. Mind your business.
What was the question again?
Oh, what's your takeaway or thoughts, takeaways?
Yeah, I agree with everyone. Just, focus on the thing that matters, which is drawing people to Christ. And instead of pushing them away with all of these rules, regulations, and standards, and just loving on people, don't worry about the music they're listening to right now. Don't worry about the clothes they're wearing. Just focus on who they are, because you can judge someone but not get to know who they are. And if you never know who they are, then they're not going to believe that you actually care, and they're not going to listen to you. Right. Get people with the heart, and that's the focus. It's like, I listen to this music, and that might be a gateway to connect with them. Oh, you listen to that too? That's my favorite artist. You never know the conversation that will evolve, and then that's the opportunity to introduce them to Christ, because honestly, right now, knocking on the door saying, "Do you know Jesus?" is not working anymore. You know what I mean? Like, we're in a different culture, you know? And so you got to connect with people where it matters. And, you know, that's the focal point, I believe.
Awesome. Well, I guess the last thing I just learned from this is that Pastor Q be listening to Aura. Sneaking listening to Aura.
My man.
Look like he be stepping.
But yeah, that's it, y'all. Just, you know, thanks for tuning into today's topic. We hope you're able to get something from it. Join us next week as we dig a little bit deeper, and we're going to figure out what we're going to talk about next week. Y'all will just find out when you just go to the next show, right? But what we want you to do is subscribe. We want you to subscribe to Spotify, subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to Apple, and wherever you can find any podcast, right? Because we want you to subscribe so you can see us and hear us and argue with us and all that good stuff, right? Yep. All right. We'll see y'all on the next one.
Ay, okay, let it be known. I'm working hard when I ain't on the phone. This ain't a hunt, this ain't a foe. Grind never stopping, I'm keeping it cold. Unlocking the door with the holy key. You supposed to be this close to me, and hopefully you understand G.O.D.